Daniel Carter checked his watch for the third time in 5 minutes. 8:12 a.m. His job interview was scheduled for exactly 9 o'clock. He couldn't afford to be late. Not this time. After losing his wife 3 years earlier to cancer, Daniel had spent every day balancing temporary construction jobs with raising his 8-year-old daughter, Emma. Some weeks there was enough work. Some weeks there wasn't. Every dollar mattered. When he received an interview invitation from Hawthorne Technologies, one of the city's fastest-growing engineering companies, he stayed awake half the night preparing. He polished his only pair of dress shoes until they looked almost new. Carefully ironed the navy blue shirt his wife had once bought him. Printed extra copies of his resume at the local library because he couldn't afford a printer. Emma watched him proudly. "Dad. You're going to get this job." Daniel smiled. "I hope so. What will happen if you do?" He gently brushed a loose strand of hair from her face. "Maybe we can finally stop moving from apartment to apartment." Emma hugged him tightly. "And maybe we can get Mom's favorite flowers for the balcony." Daniel's eyes became misty. "I'd like that." That morning, Daniel dropped Emma at school before heading downtown by bus. Every minute had been planned carefully. If traffic cooperated, he would arrive 20 minutes early. Enough time to review his notes and calm his nerves. But life had other plans. Halfway through the trip, traffic suddenly stopped. Passengers looked out the windows. A wheelchair had overturned near a busy crosswalk. People gathered nearby. Cars honked impatiently. Some drivers watched. Few moved. Daniel stood immediately. "I'm getting off." The bus driver opened the door. Daniel hurried across the street. A woman in her early 40s lay beside a motorized wheelchair that had tipped after one wheel caught in a damaged section of pavement. Several shopping bags were scattered across the road. Rain had begun falling lightly. The woman struggled to sit upright. "I've got you," Daniel said gently. She looked embarrassed. "I'm so sorry." "You don't need to apologize." He first checked whether she appeared injured. "Can you move your arms?" "Yes." "Your legs?" She nodded. "I think I'm okay." Daniel carefully helped her into a sitting position. Instead of rushing away, he noticed something else. The wheelchair's right front wheel had jammed against a twisted metal bracket. Without repairing it, she couldn't safely continue. He glanced at his watch. 8:27. His interview was less than 35 minutes away. He hesitated for only a second. Then he removed the small multi-tool he always carried for construction work. "I think I can fix this." The woman looked surprised. "You don't have to." "I know. But I'd rather help." For the next 15 minutes, Daniel carefully loosened the bent bracket, straightened the wheel assembly, and checked the brakes before helping her back into the chair. Nearby pedestrians quietly watched. One elderly man even held an umbrella over them as rain became heavier. Finally, Daniel gently rolled the wheelchair forward. It moved smoothly. The woman smiled with obvious relief. "I don't know how to thank you." Daniel laughed softly. "By having a better day than this one started." She smiled. "May I at least know your name?" "Daniel Carter." "And yours?" She hesitated for a brief moment. "Victoria." She offered no last name. Daniel simply nodded. "Nice to meet you, Victoria." His phone buzzed. 8:49. His interview. Daniel sighed. "I'm officially late." Victoria looked concerned. "You have somewhere important to be." He smiled. "A job interview." "Oh no. I'm so sorry." Daniel shrugged. "Things happen." He waved goodbye before hurrying toward the nearest subway entrance. 25 minutes later, soaked from the rain and breathing heavily, Daniel arrived at Hawthorne Technologies. The receptionist looked apologetic. "I'm sorry. The interview panel has already started meeting with other candidates." Daniel nodded. I understand. I was hoping they might still have a few minutes. She disappeared into the executive offices. Several minutes later she returned. I'm afraid today's schedule is full. Daniel thanked her politely. I appreciate you asking. He quietly left the building without arguing or making excuses. Outside, disappointment settled heavily on his shoulders. Emma had believed so completely that he would get this opportunity. Now he would have to tell her he never even made it into the interview room. What Daniel didn't know was that, only 3 floors above him, the company's CEO had just arrived late herself after an unexpected accident involving a damaged wheelchair. She was listening carefully as her assistant explained why one interview candidate had failed to appear. When she heard his name, she froze. Did you say? Daniel Carter. The assistant nodded. Yes. He missed his interview. The CEO slowly smiled. I don't think he missed it at all. Because the woman Daniel had helped on the rainy sidewalk wasn't just a stranger named Victoria. She was Victoria Hawthorne, the billionaire founder and CEO of the very company where he had been interviewing. And before the day was over, she intended to find the single father who had unknowingly chosen compassion over the biggest opportunity of his life. Victoria Hawthorne stood silently beside the conference room window, still thinking about the man who had repaired her wheelchair instead of rushing to his interview. Her assistant waited patiently. Should I schedule another candidate? Victoria slowly shook her head. No. I want you to find Daniel Carter. The assistant looked confused. The applicant who missed his interview. Yes. And don't tell him why. Within an hour, Daniel received an unexpected phone call. Mr. Carter. This is Hawthorne Technologies. He assumed they were calling to officially reject him. I'm sorry I was late, he said before the caller could speak. I understand if you've chosen someone else. Instead, the receptionist surprised him. Our CEO would like to meet you tomorrow morning. Daniel blinked. Our CEO. Yes. There won't be another interview panel. She requested a personal meeting. Daniel thanked her repeatedly before hanging up. That evening, Emma noticed her father's smile. So, does that mean you still have a chance? Daniel laughed. I honestly don't know. But someone upstairs wants to meet me. Emma grinned. I told you they'd like you. The next morning, Daniel arrived 30 minutes early. This time, he wasn't taking any chances. He wore the same carefully ironed shirt. The same polished shoes. And tucked inside his jacket pocket was Emma's handwritten note. The receptionist welcomed him warmly. Ms. Hawthorne is expecting you. Moments later, Daniel entered the executive office. He stopped in surprise. Sitting behind the large desk was the same woman he had helped in the rain. She smiled. Good morning, Daniel. Recognition slowly spread across his face. Victoria. You work here. She laughed softly. I do. Then she extended her hand. I'm Victoria Hawthorne. Founder and CEO. Daniel stood speechless. You're the CEO. She nodded. And yesterday? You missed your interview because you stopped to help me. Daniel smiled awkwardly. I didn't know who you were. I know. That's exactly why I wanted to meet you. She invited him to sit. I've read your resume. Your qualifications are excellent. But yesterday told me something no resume ever could. Daniel looked down modestly. I only did what anyone should do. Victoria smiled. I wish that were true. She explained that dozens of people had walked past before Daniel stopped. Some stared. Some slowed down. Most continued on. You were the only one willing to risk being late. Daniel shrugged. I couldn't leave someone stranded. Victoria nodded. Even though it cost you something. There was a long silence. Finally she asked. Why? Daniel thought carefully before answering. My wife used to tell our daughter that kindness only matters when it's inconvenient. If helping someone is easy, that's nice. But if helping someone costs your time, that's character. Victoria smiled. I would have liked to meet your wife. So would I. His voice became quiet. Every day. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Victoria opened a folder. I could offer you the maintenance supervisor position you applied for. Daniel smiled. I'd be grateful. She closed the folder again. But I'd rather offer you something different. Daniel looked puzzled. She slid another document across the desk. It was an offer for Director of Facilities Operations. The salary was nearly twice what he had expected. Flexible working hours. Health insurance. Education benefits for Emma. Additional paid family leave. Daniel stared at the numbers. There must be a mistake. There isn't. I don't have management experience. Victoria smiled. I can teach management. I can't teach integrity. Tears filled Daniel's eyes. I don't know what to say. Say you'll accept. He laughed through the emotion. I accept. News of Daniel's hiring quickly spread throughout the company. Many employees assumed he had received special treatment. Instead of becoming defensive, Victoria shared the full story during the company's monthly meeting. She didn't describe Daniel as a hero. She simply explained what had happened. He helped someone without expecting anything in return. He treated a stranger with dignity. That is exactly the kind of person I want leading our teams. The room erupted in applause. Over the following months, Daniel proved she had made the right decision. He learned every department. He greeted janitors with the same respect he showed executives. When equipment failed, he rolled up his sleeves and helped repair it himself. Employees quickly noticed something different about their new director. He never asked anyone to do work he wouldn't do himself. One afternoon, a new intern accidentally spilled coffee across expensive architectural plans. Terrified, she expected to be fired. Daniel simply handed her a towel. Let's clean it up. She burst into tears. I'm so sorry. He smiled. Mistakes can be fixed. Dishonesty is much harder. His calm leadership gradually transformed the workplace. Employee turnover dropped. Maintenance response times improved. Departments communicated more effectively. People genuinely enjoyed coming to work. A year later, Hawthorne Technologies received a national award recognizing outstanding workplace culture. During the ceremony, a journalist asked Victoria, "What was the smartest hiring decision you ever made?" She smiled toward Daniel sitting with his daughter in the audience. The man who almost didn't get an interview. After the ceremony, Emma hugged her father tightly. I knew you'd get the job. Daniel laughed. You were right. She tilted her head. Do you think helping that lady made the difference? Daniel smiled. I think helping someone is always the right choice. Even if nothing good comes back. Victoria, overhearing their conversation, walked over. Actually, something good almost always does. She looked at Emma. Not always in money. Not always immediately. But kindness has a remarkable way of finding its way home. Years later, new employees at Hawthorne Technologies would often hear the story of the single father who arrived late for his interview. Many expected it to be a lesson about luck. Instead, it became a lesson about values. Because Daniel hadn't earned the job by impressing the CEO. He earned it long before he ever stepped into her office, on a rainy sidewalk, when he chose to help a stranger instead of protecting his own opportunity. And that was exactly the kind of leader the company had been searching for all along.